Hey everyone, I am your astrologer Brittany with Horoscope.com. Here are 3 things you need to know in order to make today, Wednesday, April 24th, 2019, a success. Now the first thing I want to talk about is going to be right here where the moon is in Capricorn. When the moon's in Capricorn, it brings our attention to our career, our life direction, and it also brings our attention to some serious and big matters hanging over our shoulders here. Can be very, very good for getting work done, but sometimes can be a little bit uncomfortable if you want to just coast through today and be at ease. Just because the moon doesn't like to be in the sign of Capricorn, it cannot feel the best emotion. We can feel a little bit more serious and have to control ourselves a little bit more than we want. But that restriction can help refine our plans to move on. Now, what we've got going on very first thing this morning, while many of us are sleeping, is going to be this moon in Capricorn making a square over here to Chiron and Aries. This can be a little bit of a challenge. Again, the moon is in Capricorn. It doesn't like to be in Capricorn. It's making a square. Squares are hard aspects, and it's making a square to Chiron, which to me has a lot to do with fears and insecurities. So what's going on with this moon in Capricorn is that we want to, or if we don't want to, we need to think more seriously about life and about the direction we want our life to go in. And perhaps that's hard for us because we don't want to think seriously. We just want to do things. Chiron and Aries just wants to make things happen, to have a life that we feel more passionate about. But perhaps in order for us to have a life that we need to be passionate about, it's going to take a lot of discipline, it's going to take a lot of strategy, it's going to take a lot of planning, and maybe we don't want to do those things, and maybe we don't know how to do the things that we need to get our life in the right direction. That could bring up some feelings of frustration. All right, so that's going to sit with us. Around the same time that's happening, still while we're sleeping early in the morning, this moon, as it's in a square with Chiron, is also going to be here in a trine with the sun. When the moon's in a trine with the sun here, we're trying to figure out how we can move forward towards a good direction for life that's stable and secure, and that it is that we feel comfortable in. All right, so I feel like there's this thing going on. We want to move forward, and we're willing to put in the hard work to do it, but we aren't quite sure how to do it. And in order to do the things that it is that we need, we've got to sacrifice on some other stuff that's coming up. Sacrifice on some of our passions in the moment, sacrifice in the short term in order to get the long term and line everything up together that we're dealing with. All right, that's going to be with us for a few hours. The next alignment that's going to occur is still going to be while many of us are sleeping. Around that time, this moon in Capricorn is then going to make a square over to Venus and Aries. All right, so we want to commit to moving forward in one direction, even if we don't know how, even if we have to sacrifice some of our passions in the moment. And I think we're saying, all right, I'm going to try my best to do what I need to move on without all this other stuff. And I think when the moon squares Venus, we start to figure out, okay, if I'm going to do this thing, how do I need to organize my relationships? How do I need to organize my money, my resources, my time? How do I need to feel about myself in order to bring everything together, in order to do what needs to be done? And there could be a lot of stuff that comes up here about relationships, about money, about yourself, so that you can bring everything together. Cannot feel the most comfortable with the square here, but I think will be necessary so that we can figure out the best path moving forward. That's going to sit with us for a few hours. The next alignment is going to be around lunchtime. Around lunchtime, this moon in Capricorn is then going to make a square over here to Mercury and Aries. And what that can bring is a lot of conversations going on, either with other people or with ourselves. A lot of things going on in the mind here about what we're doing, how we're doing it, about what the plan and strategy is so that we can keep moving forward. All right? And that's all that's going on today. To be honest, I think today is the day we've got our eye on the prize. Maybe we've got a goal in mind. We've got something new and different that we want to do and that we want to commit to. And I think we're starting to move towards it. We don't know how, but we're rearranging our relationships and our money, and we're working things out in our mind mentally to support this new path and this new direction. Again, we may not be making big strides forward yet in the way that we want, or if we are making strides, we may not feel the results of those strides yet, but we're doing the important preliminary work to figure out what needs to be done and to rearrange stuff in the process in order to help us move forward. All right, that's the first thing. Yeah, get your resources and your mind right in order to support the things you need. Now, the second thing I want to talk about, maybe I'll go here. Number 2, Mars is coming into a square with Neptune over the course of the next few days. Now, what this can bring are lots of conversations up about what's important to us, about what we're feeling inside, about the past, about how we can break free from the past in order to commit to these newer, different things in our life that we feel are going to be better for us. Okay? I think conversations are going to be good, but they could be a little bit confusing with this. Sometimes Neptune brings confusing, and they could be a little bit emotional here. So we're trying to move forward. We know we need to move forward, but maybe we're uncertain exactly of what to do and how to do it. Maybe it's hard for us to communicate to other people exactly what's going on as we figure things out, and maybe we're emotional about what is to come. And I think what I need to mention here is patience. I feel like I say that a lot. I have been saying that a lot in my horoscopes the past few months, but still needing to do it, to be okay if you only have an outline of your future and if you don't have the details together. All right, the details are going to come in time. Go on an inkling, go on faith. Focus on what your soul needs. And if you can focus on what your soul needs, even if everything else isn't quite together, or even if you don't quite know what to do, but you're still trying the best that you can to do it anyways, you're going to be fine. Do the best you can to make things work with the limited knowledge or information that you do have, and things are going to work out. Now, the third and last thing that I want to go back to is going to be right here, number 3, Venus, Chiron, still in a conjunction. So again, we could still be feeling uncomfortable about relationships, about money, about what we need to do there. Maybe disagreements with people. We could still be having those things, or we could be fighting with ourselves about what's to come next and what it is that we need. And I think needing to be patient, still needing to be okay if you don't have all the answers. And to not make these impulsive, rash judgments and decisions about things based on an argument or based on one discussion. All right, what's going on in the astrology is that we're trying to change our life, not just for the short term, but for the long haul, for the long term. And these decisions shouldn't be rushed and shouldn't be done half-heartedly and shouldn't be done on a whim. They need time to come together. They need time to be worked out. All right, give yourself that time and be okay if the answers aren't all there yet. Okay, it's gonna all come together. You just don't get too frustrated and don't stop progress but just because all of the progress isn't there in all of the ways that you want and exactly the pace that you need it. All right, we're gonna be fine. Moving forward, even if it feels uncomfortable, pay attention to what your emotions and what your spirit and soul is telling you, and let that guide the way. Let your spirit and soul work some things out emotionally, and that's going to help you make more sense of what else you need to do and how you need to organize things in a better way in order to get the results that it is that you ultimately want. So that is your daily planetary forecast for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you tomorrow.